So, Abfahrt, das erste Video, The Golden State Warriors are somehow doing this. Obwohl Steph Curry und, warte mal, wer ist noch draußen? Andrew Wiggins ist auch noch draußen, Digga. Obwohl die beiden draußen sind, sind die Golden State Warriors gerade nicht schlecht unterwegs. Wir werden uns mal angucken, was Seven Man dazu zu sagen hat. Abfahrt.
Fifth in the Western Conference and are within arm's reach of securing a 4th seed and a home playoff series. Just let that sink in for a second. And there's one man in particular that deserves a lot of credit.
Klay fucking Thompson.
What if I told you Klay Thompson is currently 0.2 points per game away from averaging a career high in points? Which is all the more incredible when you consider things like this were being said earlier in the year.
As much as I love Klay, he's slipping. Same thing with Draymond. They're not the same. In the finals.
Ja, das sehe ich aber genauso, Digga. Am Anfang der Season hatte ich genau das Gefühl, vor allem in den Playoffs hast du das gesehen. Klay Thompson war nicht der gleiche Klay Thompson, wie er vorher war. Defensiv nicht und offensiv nicht. Und hätten wir Jordan Poole nicht gehabt, Digga, dann wäre er wahrscheinlich auch nicht Champions geworden.
You could see they're not the same guys they was 2 or 3 years ago. Oh man, Father Time is knocking on the door on a couple of those guys.
You know, it hurts when someone like Charles Barkley, with the platform he has, says you're not the same player prior to the injuries you have. It's like, no duh, man. Give me some freaking time to get that back. But you know what? I'm gonna internalize it, and it's gonna be fuel for me to be even better. I'm gonna have a great year. I
Der hat auch gesagt, er hat auch recht.
bet on that.
And Klay did exactly what he said he was going to do. He used all of this as motivation because after starting the season terribly, over the last 38 games, Thompson is averaging 24 points per game and averaging nearly 5 3-point makes a game on 43%. Just to put this into perspective, Klay is on track to average the 7th most 3-point makes per game in a single season. And well, as you can see, it's a list that is pretty much entirely owned by the GOAT. And it's been the last couple of months where Klay has looked unbelievable offensively. It's just typical Klay, using his shooting gravity to terrorize opposition bigs and wings like on these 2 plays. On this first play, Loon sets a screen to get Klay free, which Reed kind of presses up on after Klay starts moving downhill. Klay then uses that opportunity to feed a rolling Loon. So then a few plays later, when Loon once again sets a screen, Reed is left planted as he doesn't want to press up and allow another bucket for Looney rolling to the basket, which gives Klay enough time to hit a 3. Outside of consistently making the right plays, Klay is still Klay, and that involves making a lot of shots that pretty much no one in NBA history can make as consistently as he does. And it's plays like this I'm talking about. Klay gets the ball in the corner with a 6'10" Jabari Smith all over him. So Klay hits a little jab step, and with practically no separation, he rises up and hits the shot over Jabari Smith before pointing at the Houston bench. And it's this exact reason why the Warriors remain a serious contender. Because for the Warriors to have 2 guys that consistently make shots off the catch and off the dribble that no one else in the NBA can do as consistently, it's just impossible to defend. I mean, take this for example. Here's
Das ist wie in der 2K, ne? Ohne Spaß. Shooting macht da so viel aus, Bruder. Sobald du Shooter auf dein Team hast, hast du viel mehr Spacing. Das ganze Team kann viel, viel besser arbeiten.
JK with the ball. It looks as though the Dubs are going to run a typical JK to Klay handoff. Both Blazers defenders expect that, so they stick with Klay, which allows Kuminga to slip straight through to the rim. Now, why am I highlighting this play in particular? Because Klay was 3 of 14 at the time, and he still drew 2 defenders, which caused an open dunk. This is even more impossible to defend when Paul and Wiggins are shooting well, in addition to, well, obviously what Steph does off the ball, and this is without even mentioning the newest Warrior, who we all know is going to be good.
Ja, man, Dante DiVincenzo. Habe ich auch von vornherein gedacht, dass er echt gut bei den Golden State Warriors ankommen wird. Aber ich hätte nicht gedacht, dass er so krass ankommen wird.
But I don't think anyone could have imagined just how good Dante DiVincenzo has been this season. After taking some time to adjust to the Dubs system, over his last 36 games, Dante is averaging nearly 12, 5 and 4 on 45% from 3. And what makes Dante so great is he's a legitimate shooter. And so what I mean by this is Dante's capable of coming off screens and pulling up without hesitation, like I just mentioned with Clay. Watch this play where JK sets a screen for Dante before he hits the 3. Even on plays that aren't designed for him, all he needs is a tiny bit of space to get off his shot because of how quick his release is. And what makes Dante more valuable than other three-point specialists isn't just the fact he's also a fantastic defender, but he's great at leveraging his three-point ability to make plays for others, like here where Kuminga sets a screen, and as the Wolves blitz, he makes the easy pass over the back for the dunk. In large part to these two guys, the Warriors are doing something unthinkable. They are winning games without Steph Curry. Over the last 17 games, they are 11-6 without Steph. But I don't think you guys truly understand how unusual it is for the Dubs to be winning games without Steph. Let's just put things into perspective. In 2017, Curry missed 31 games. In those 31 games, they went 17-14, which sounds okay, but when you realize they were 41-10 with him, and the team consisted of Prime Clay, Dre and KD, but were barely above 500 when he didn't play. And this still doesn't do things justice.
Kann man auch sagen, was man will, ne? Auch wenn Kevin Durant damals der Player bei den Golden State Warriors war. Meiner Meinung nach, Digga, ohne Steph Curry konnte das ganze Team nicht funktionieren. Hat man ja auch gesehen, ne? Also wenn Steph Curry nicht da war, wie gesagt, ne? Was hatten die da? Unter 500, Digga? Mit Kevin Durant in dem Team? Schwierig, Digga.
From 2014 to 2021, so from when Steph became an All-Star, look at the difference in record with versus without Steph Curry. That's a 75% win rate versus a 35% win rate over a 600-game sample size. So a third without Steph Curry.
Oder die haben fast genauso viel Loses, wie wenn er auf dem Court ist, aber irgendwie 500 Spiele mehr, Digga. Ach du Scheiße.
That's a 75% win rate versus a 35% win rate over a 600-game sample size. So the fact that the Dubs have been able to win 11 of their last 17 games without Steph in a season they have struggled is quite literally a miracle.
Das sind
but as
aber
good
auch
as Dante
Shots.
and Clay have been, it's not just because of two players. In the absence of Wiggs as well, Jonathan Kuminga has been asked to step up, and he's done exactly that. Outside of just making highlight plays, JK has completely turned his season around offensively. Through the first 33 games, he was only averaging 7.5 points per game and had only scored in double digits in 10 of those 33 games.
Man hat auch das Gefühl, wo er auch vor allem am Anfang mit James Wiseman noch zusammen auf dem Court war, als der noch bei den Golden State Warriors war damals, hatte ich immer so das Gefühl, dass er nicht irgendwer wusste, was er da wirklich machen soll. Aber jetzt hat er anscheinend endlich seinen Platz bei den Golden State Warriors gefunden, weil der hat schon immer geile Assets gehabt, Digga. 6'10", explosive, schnell, defensive, engagiert, Digga. Er muss nur diesen Feinstift bekommen und anscheinend hat er den so langsam.
Fast forward to the last 17 games, he's averaging 11 points per game
von 3.
on much better efficiency and has scored in double digits in 11 of those last 17 games. It's the consistency that Kuminga is now giving the Warriors on offense that will give Kerr enough confidence to play him in the postseason this year. There are just things he's capable of doing that not many other players can do. He has the same vertical pop as a center, but is significantly quicker and more agile than a center, so he's great at slipping those handoffs or screens with Clay or Steph before then attacking the rim downhill. And if the defense does help over, he's more than capable of making those kickouts to open shooters.
Ohne Steph wären die Warriors ein Play-In-Team, das weiß ich nicht, aber hast du wahrscheinlich recht. Steph halt hebt halt ein ganzes Team, keine Ahnung, wie er das schafft. Also, die einzigen Antworten, die ich darauf hätte, ist halt sein Spacing in der Offense, Digga, dass alle anderen dadurch viel, viel freier agieren können. Ne, weil durch ihn ist halt einfach immer ein Spieler beschäftigt, Bruder. Egal, was Steph macht, Bruder. Ob Steph jetzt über den ganzen Court rennt oder halt einfach nur rumsteht, damit ist ein Spieler immer beschäftigt. Und er ist halt auch defensive stark, ne? Auch wenn man das vielleicht nicht so im ersten Moment denkt. So klar, er ist vielleicht auch immer der Punkt, den man angreifen will. Bei den Warriors jetzt offensive, ne? Aber, beziehungsweise defensive. Aber selbst der hat an sich gute Defense, Bruder. Und das reicht halt auf jeden Fall aus, Digga, um die meisten Drives zu verhindern und so, dass dann irgendwie Help-Defense von Draymond oder Andrew Wiggins oder Kuminga kommen kann.
Also, if you guys want an idea as to why the Warriors won't even entertain trading Kuminga unless it's for a superstar, well, you've seen his athleticism and his defense, but it's the fluidity of his jump shot that makes you think he could be a 25-point per game scorer if he reaches his potential. I mean, look at how fluid he is hitting pull-up middies. It's also worth mentioning that Patrick Baldwin Jr. is shooting a casual 29 of 64 from 3 on the season and is all but proven he will be an NBA-level 3-point shooter. It's a matter of what other skills he can continue to show that will determine just how good he can be. Anyways, if you did make it all the way to the end of the video, a like would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the channel for more. Have a great day. Bye.
War ein sehr gutes Video. Sevenman macht gute Videos, ohne Spaß. Gerade mal 21.000 Abonnenten. Der hat ein paar mehr verdient. Sehr, sehr gutes Video.